Hey everybody, welcome back to Everyman Prepping. It's very late on a Saturday night. I've been busy all day. Hopefully you have too, doing some work around the house here, doing some preps, doing stuff with the family. But I wanted to take some time, even though it's late, to get out a little update on the Israel-Gaza thing. And most importantly, looks like the United States is prepping for more war. They're probably going to enter it in the Middle East, and I'm going to show you how they're prepping up and what we might have to look for, and also what we might have to look forward towards what's going on over there with China. So without further ado, I want to get started real quick and look at this. And the first thing I want to go into is these protests that are going on. And let me see if I get this full screen here and get it going for you. As we do this, also please like the video, comment, share, all that great YouTube stuff. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. But this is basically a video, a compilation of video of different places. That was London. Here's DC, of Palestinian protests in support of Palestine. Throughout the world that's happening. I just want to keep an eye on this. I think we should all keep an eye on this because as these protests grow, as there's more people around the world in favor of a ceasefire against Israel, Israel's losing a lot of backing even from politicians around the world. And we got, like I said, keep an eye on this because I think it could back Israel into the corner. If they think they have nothing to lose because everybody's against them anyway, they're not going to try to gain favor because their people want retribution for what happened. As the president pointed out, and if you look at the number of people in Israel compared to the United States, and you look at the 9/11 attacks, it'd be the same as the United States losing like 30,000 people because there's like 1,400 Israelis. It'd be the same percent of people, about 30,000. Well, 30,000 Americans died. The United States is going to want retribution on whoever did that, no matter what the world thought. And I just think if these protests keep up and they keep going a lot of anti-Israel, pro-Palestinian protests around the world, Israel could just say, screw it, we're going full-on nuclear war against Hezbollah, Jordan, Egypt, Gaza, West Bank, and just say, we're going to try to end this once and for all, we're tired of it. I don't know if that would ever happen, but I see these protests, and that's what comes to mind. Well, let's see what else we have here going on. We have these aid convoys coming in. So they sent a whopping 20 trucks. I don't know if more have gone by, but that's all I hear so far is 20 trucks, from Egypt, went into Gaza with food and medical, it says here. But how many of these are going to be taken by Hamas? I know down here in the article it says, I didn't think I highlighted, yeah. It says both U.S. and Israel officials have previously warned Hamas that if they steal or touch this aid, that they will be, cut off. They'll cut off the aid. Of course Hamas is going to take this. Of course they're going to steal it and try to get as much as they can to fight the war effort. How are they going to control it? The United States can't control where the money and arms are going into Ukraine right now. And that's supposed to be a friendly regime. Well, they're sending all this aid, into the United States, isn't Egypt sending it. I don't know who's paying for it, probably the United States. We try to pay for everything. But, they're trying to send all this in there, and it's going into a hostile place, and they think they can control if Hamas takes it. Come on now. That's what's going to happen. Anyway, this article points out also that as of Saturday, earlier today, that there was 210 confirmed hostages. People are trying to get Biden to tell Israel, hey, Israel needs to hold off on this ground invasion until all the hostages are released. Well, that's probably not going to happen. That would probably just say there would be no ground invasion. And I don't think there's any chance really of that happening at all. And then we have this final story about China. They have a navy. They have a fleet of, I think it's 6. Yeah, it says here confirmed up to 6 Chinese warships have been in the Middle East waters over the last week. They're in the Persian Gulf. I think they're in Kuwait right now, in harbor right now, refueling or something. But, they're hanging out over there in, the Mideast. I don't know if it's just a show of force, show of support, but, China's sticking their foot in the water over there. You got, Putin up there in the Black Sea. He's doing that 24/7 flights of his MiG fighters with hypersonic nuclear-capable missiles. So that tension hasn't gone away, that's for sure. And this has led to one of the buildups I'm talking about. Oh, here, let's go to the top so you can see the title. So when I, put on the thumbnail that the U.S. is, basically getting ready for war, we are sending additional air defense systems to the Middle East region. I can't find anywhere where in the Middle East. Is it going into Israel? Is it going into, the bases in Syria? Is it going into Iraq? I don't know where they're putting these, probably Israel, but what they're sending it, excuse me, what they're sending is these THAAD systems. It stands for Terminal high-altitude air defense system and additional Patriot air defense batteries or battalions going into the Middle East. They obviously think there's going to be more missile attacks. And one thing about the THAAD, I'll show you here. Let me point this out here. This is from the X. When they're talking about the THAAD, it says here, the U.S. Defense Secretary orders additional forces to the Middle East, including the deployment of the THAAD battery, as well as additional Patriot battalions. Then it says, note, Hamas and Hezbollah do not have ballistic missiles. Iran does. So the THAAD is to protect against ballistic missiles. So the United States must think they're going to see some ballistic missiles coming from, like Yemen already tried. Maybe Iran will ship some of those into Syria. Who knows? But the fact that they're sending these things, they think that's going to happen, which is an escalation, because if it's just, West Bank, Hezbollah, Hamas, they don't need that system. But the fact that they're sending us thinks they are, which means Iran will get involved, which means it'll expand further. You can see some of the pictures here. This is the Gerald Ford, I believe, that is being sent in. This is a THAAD system launching. This is what was on the thumbnail that you saw. We might as well go through some other intel while we have it here. So there was a bombing of a mosque in the West Bank. That's not good. We start bombing churches and mosques. And here Israel is admitting to the fact that, yes, we did bomb a mosque. Now, this, of course, is going to fire up the whole Muslim world, turn more of them against it, might fire up Iran. And they're saying the reason they did it is there was a underground bunker system housing militants. What they call it. Let's look. It says it's a joint operation, and there was an underground terror compound. Let me just blow it up here. Underground terrorist compound beneath the mosque, which is being used by both Hamas and the Palestinian Islamic Jihad to prepare for an imminent terrorist attack. So that's what they're saying, what was under it and why they bombed a mosque. It doesn't matter to Muslims in the world. Those people are going to say you bombed a church or a mosque, you're not supposed to. It's going to fire them up even more, probably more protests. But, Israel, in their mind, is trying to protect what they can. Now, let's go through a few more of these while we have them. Here we have, as real quick, I'm going to put this China, 500 operational nuclear warheads, just so you know. And then this is the mosque, pictures of the mosque. This is it blowing up over here. This is some on the scenes. Let's see if we can put this out. Let's turn that sound off. Here you can see people running, all that good stuff. And then here we have the mosque with it and smoke going up there. So that's the mosque it hit. Like I said, they actually admitted to it. They said, yes, we did it. Here we have, there's been a lot of engagement with Hezbollah. That is picking up. There's Hezbollah's causing damage, causing fatalities to the Israeli Defense Forces. So Israel's fighting back. In fact, they try to burn some out, it looks like. If you look here, let me put this video up. You can see here that they're using incendiary devices in lower Lebanon. You can see it flaring off there. And they're trying to basically smoke them out, burn them out. So there's been a lot of fighting with Hamas lately. Not Hamas, with Hezbollah, in Lebanon, northern Israel. And that's picking up. And it's going to be a two-front war. That's going to happen. That's probably why the U.S. needs to be over there, too, because I think they're going to have to help Israel, because I don't think they'll be able to do a two-front war. You get the West Bank and Jordan involved and go to a three-front war, Israel could be in a little bit of trouble. So we'll have to see how that plays out. No ground war has started yet, but when it does, it's going to be a bloody war. It's going to be bloody and messy. And let's move on away from there now. Let's get away from those preparations just is doing into what we see here. North Korea issues warning over U.S. nuclear bomber station in the South Korea. So let's go. I have a story about that here. Let me find it really quick. Is this it here? No. Here we go. Out of RT. U.S. nuclear bombers will be the first target, says North Korea. So we sent B-52, what they call the Stratofortress bomber, sent to North Korea, or sent to South Korea, apologies. It's late at night, like I told you, so my brain's not all there right now. But, so we already sent a couple nuclear-powered subs, and King Jong-il kind of freaked out. Now we're sending nuclear bombers, the B-52s over there. We'll just keep poking that bear, poking it and see. We're going to see what happens. It's North Korea, it's China. This is basically sticking your finger in the eye of China right here as well. So, but it says here that Pyongyang says it will not hesitate to strike American warplanes stationed in the peninsula if provoked. North Korea has condemned the recent deployment of American nuclear-capable bombers to the south, meaning South Korea, and they will be the first targets of destruction, they say. And they're earlier this week, not only were they deployed, but they're doing flyovers, they're doing practice runs. So they're not just flying them there, they're actually, doing maneuvers with them, which always freaks out the North Koreans a lot. And lastly, it says this is an intentional maneuver by the United States to provoke a nuclear war. There's always a lot of rhetoric out of North Korea, but it's definitely not calming tension by doing this. It's more of a war preparations. Put them over there, station them there. They're ready to go right away. So we have tensions going on over there, of course. And then let's go into Europe really quick. We'll hit this really quick before we end. It says here, NATO sends drones, planes, and ships to the Baltic Sea following suspected undersea sabotage. What they're talking about, if you remember, is that pipeline that went from Finland down into Estonia. That it was damaged, breached. There's also an undersea, internet fiber cable that was also destroyed. They're blaming Russia, of course. We haven't heard any definitive proof that it is them, but that's what they're basically blaming. They say if they find definitive proof that was Russia, that'll be considered an attack on NATO, and we'll see if they do anything. But they're sending drones, reconnaissance planes, and ships have been dispatched to the Baltic Sea, and it comes as a move in response to the recently discovered damage to critical undersea infrastructure. So basically, it's almost like they're looking for a reason to do this, but we'll see how that goes. It says the vulnerability of undersea gas pipelines and communication cables to sabotage is a growing NATO concern. So I don't know if this has the chart. Yeah, here we go. This is a picture here of all the undersea cables that are out there. You can see they're all over the place. Up here is where they're talking about right now, the Baltic Sea right here. You cut them off, get communication cut off. Down goes the financials, commo, all that good stuff. But basically you have the ramping up of more assets going over there, and with Biden giving his speech saying that we could do a two-front war, we have to invest in it, and then Putin's response to that, that wasn't taken very well by Russia either. That's when Putin put up his 24/7 Black Sea rotations going out. And so that's where we're at today really quickly as a brief. The ground war, the good thing the ground war hasn't started yet because I think that's going to kick off a much wider hostilities. But since the United States is building up forces, bringing extra air defense for ballistic missiles, that means to me that when it does, you're going to see some stuff coming probably from Iran. Will it come from their territory or from a third party, whether it be from Iraq or southern Syria or Lebanon? It might come there, but it doesn't matter. Once that gets, that happens, it's a broader war. Then you probably have U.S. planes flying over, running sorties, having a chance of getting shot down. Will those Marines actually get involved? Maybe if they need to rescue the hostages or go in and help the Israelis secure a point, maybe. And then all bets are off once that happens. So that's where we are today. As a recap, let's keep track of the protests as they grow. The bombing of the mosque. Does this push Israel to act faster, more quickly, even push them towards a strategic nuclear response? Who knows? Don't know if that's probable, but I could see backing Israel to just throwing their hands up and say, everybody's against us, we're going to do whatever we want. And then, of course, we have the U.S. building up, not only here, but in South Korea as well, and in NATO, going into the Black Sea. So hopefully you got something out of this. Hopefully it gives you an idea what's going on, keeping up to date and everything. Take this and share it with your friends and family who maybe haven't caught on to actually how desperate the situation is getting over there in the Mideast and in Europe, heck, in Asia too. And Sunday, while you're out there Sunday, try to get some more prep work done. Figure out what's on your priority list, the next highest thing you want to do, what you want to get ready for winter. Remember, winter's coming. Start thinking about that, that wood, the heat, how you can heat your home if the power goes out, all that. Maybe do some winter prep. That might be something good to do tomorrow, or at least make a list of what you want to do. In the comments below, write what you're doing, share with other people what you're doing, and what you suggest other people try to work on for winter. Let's see if we can focus on that. Until next time, keep your ear to the ground and head on a swivel.